So I'm going to show you how I make one of my very favorite dehydrated meals. It's very easy and very satisfying. All I do is I make a big batch of spaghetti, and I can't eat it all. Sometimes I'll freeze it, but a lot of the times I will dehydrate it. And this is just a regular spaghetti with onions, garlic, ground beef, spaghetti noodles, and I have a little marjoram and some rosemary that I put in there, with a few, other herbs, Italian seasoning, a little bit of pepper, celery salt, and cook it like I normally would, and I eat it for dinner. And then instead of putting the rest in a Tupperware, I throw it in my dehydrator. And I do this because I like spaghetti. But it takes a little while to make it. And I like to eat spaghetti all the time. And I also go on a lot of fishing trips and camping trips. And it's not very convenient to bring all the ingredients with me. I'd have to have a cooler with ice for the mushrooms and the beef. I'd have to bring a cutting board and a knife to chop the onions and the garlic. I have to bring a pan and all that stuff that goes with cooking. But if I just bring a bag of my dehydrated spaghetti, and you can add room temperature water, let it sit for a little while for those pasta noodles to rehydrate and everything. You can have a nice bowl of what will taste like homemade fresh spaghetti without all the hassle and all the work. So it saves a lot of room in your pack by just bringing the dried spaghetti. You don't have to bring all those ingredients, all those coolers, all the utensils, all that. And the final result is basically the same. But I'm not camping right now. Obviously, I'm at home. So I'm just going to heat up some water. And we're going to let that heat up. It only takes about a minute. And we're going to pour that hot water over this bowl of spaghetti. We're going to let that hot water in there. So this is nice. I mean, I'm not on a camping trip. I'm not on a fishing trip. I'm just sitting at home. And I just wanted some, spaghetti with some pasta sauce and some meat, mushrooms, onion, and garlic, with some herbs and whatnot. And it's nice, even at home, to just have a meal prepared. Like, I don't have to cook anything right now. I can just add hot water, cover it with some foil, let it sit for about 5 minutes, let those noodles hydrate in the water and everything else in there, and I'll have a nice bowl of, spaghetti. And this dried spaghetti will last for years. And I can just make one big batch of spaghetti, eat it fresh that night, bring some to work for leftovers, you know, have some for that dinner as leftovers, and dehydrate a few batches of it, and I can have fresh spaghetti anytime I want. I only have to make spaghetti, you know, once every 6 months. And doing this, it's a good way to preserve your herbs that you grow in your garden. It's a good way to preserve food. Gives you a little bit of food security. If you're lazy, like sometimes I am, and you really want something to eat, and you want a certain thing to eat, like let's say you want a fresh bowl of spaghetti, then you can have that nice fresh bowl of spaghetti, even though it's not entirely fresh, but it was fresh when you preserved it, so it still holds in that freshness. So you can have that fresh spaghetti tasting flavor with the sauce. You know, I added fresh tomatoes. Everything that went into this was fresh spaghetti sauce, homemade sauce, you know, like my own grown herbs. Everything was fresh, homegrown, besides, you know, the actual pasta itself and the beef. Everything in there was fresh, guaranteed, you know, satisfaction that I grew. And I can hold in that flavor of that nice homemade pasta sauce with pasta, with the mushrooms and everything that I enjoy, the garlic and the onions and the herbs and that nice homemade flavor. And I can have that anytime I want. All I have to do is add water, or hot water if you want it a little bit faster and you want it hot. I don't have to worry about anything else. It's just boom, I got fresh spaghetti anytime I want, just by adding water. It's almost ready. It's only been about 2 minutes. Also, while we're waiting for this pasta to rehydrate that water, I'd like to recommend some of these books that have taught me a lot. The Dehydrated Bible, written by Jennifer McKenzie and Jay Nutt, and the Canning and Preserving Master Bible. These two books have taught me a lot. This one's written by Sandrine Kelly. Don't know if I said that right. But there's a lot of information in these two books. This one also, the Introduction to Botany. This was a school book that I had. These 3 books have taught me very much about how to know about plants. I'm a big gardener, so this helps me to transfer that gardening knowledge into the house and into the kitchen. I mean, it's great to be able to garden and to know how to do stuff outside, but to make things out of what you grow and to be able to preserve it, you know, that would be the next step, is to acquire the knowledge to put that gardening to use, to learn how to, you know, make things and to survive on, not survive, but to sustain yourself on the things that you are growing. So it's still absorbing some of that water. So it's been about 3, maybe 3.5, 4 minutes. We're gonna let it sit about 1 more minute. All right, so now we're gonna take off the foil. A lot of that water has absorbed into there. Oh, It makes a perfect bowl of ready to eat beef and spaghetti salsa, or not salsa, sorry. Beef and spaghetti sauce pasta. I'm gonna take a bite. I'm gonna pause it right now and just take a bite. That was so good. That was so good. I can't even tell you how good this spaghetti is. Like, it tastes like it was just made. And a lot of people give me negative feedback. They say, like, Paul, why are you spending so much time heating up water and adding it to your dehydrated spaghetti and spending all the time dehydrating that spaghetti just so you can have a bowl of spaghetti? But they don't seem to understand that if you make a big batch of spaghetti and you dry it, that you can have spaghetti for months on end. So who's wasting the time here? Am I wasting my time, or are they wasting their time by making fresh batches of spaghetti when I can just make one giant batch of spaghetti and dry it and add hot water and have spaghetti like this anytime I want? Like, look at that. Look at the color. Look at the texture. Look at the herbs and the seasoning and the beef. You know what I mean? Like, that's spaghetti. That right here, what you're looking at right now, that's prime spaghetti with the sauce, with the herbs, with the veggies, with the mushrooms, with the onion, the garlic, everything, the beef, the meat. You got it all right here. And it only took one time to cook this. And I ate a bunch. I took some to work, had leftovers, and then I dehydrated, the rest. It's so simple. And normally I do this, like I said, when I'm hunting and fishing and going on hikes. But when I have extra, I'll dehydrate it. I'll eat it at home. It's Saturday. Today's my day off. And my back hurts. And I don't feel like cooking. I want a meal. I want something fast. All I had to do was add hot water. And I have a nice piping hot bowl of spaghetti. You can't go wrong with this. Oh, I cannot stress enough on how good this tastes. You would not even know that it's been dried. You would have no idea. You could trick your guests. They would have no idea that this has been cooked and dried. They would have no clue. They would have no idea. Like, look at the texture. Look at that color. Everything you're seeing here has already been cooked, dried, and then rehydrated. You'd have no idea. It's almost like magic. It is almost like magic. Like, look at that. Look at that. It's just glistening. It's freaking glistening. Look at that. Like, take a good look. Take a great look at this fork. See that beef? See those noodles? See the sauce? Yeah. It's still steaming. They call me the sauce boss. I'm a busy guy. I ain't got time to make fresh spaghetti, once a week. I make it once a month, but I eat it once a week due to this process of preserving food. Preserving food is a gift that is embedded in our human history. This is what we've always done. This is what we always will do. It's easy to go to the store and buy a can of spaghetti, or go to a restaurant and buy a plate of spaghetti. but to make your own spaghetti and to preserve it. That's a skill, and that's knowledge that most people can't really comprehend. And it makes people mad. It upsets people. I've noticed this. It actually upsets people. They get mad. And I realize that it's because they lack the knowledge to do this, and they lack the resources to do this. They lack the energy and the time to do this. And they will give you every excuse they can to make it sound like what you're doing is a bad idea. When in reality, their mindset is a bad idea on how not to do this. Because, like, who wouldn't want fresh, amazing spaghetti anytime you can have it? Anytime you want spaghetti. You don't have to go in the kitchen. You don't have to chop up any vegetables. You don't have to turn on the stove. You don't have to grab a pot, clean, do dishes. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is do it one time. One time you have to do that. You're sacrificing that one time to do that, to be able to have pasta and fresh spaghetti like 100 times, depending on, the size of the batch that you make. Like, I can't stress enough of the color and the texture of this. Like, you can't tell the difference. If I were to give you a batch of this and a batch of, pasta made right away, you wouldn't know the difference. You might actually think that mine that's been dehydrated will probably taste better. It has a better texture. It has a better flavor. It has a better aroma. Because they have been dried and dehydrated and rehydrated. It adds to the flavor. It's an amazing flavor, and you can't beat that. And not only is this extremely convenient and, helps you store your food into a small amount of space in your bedroom or your cabinet, but it's also just very easy. It's fast. I mean, if you have kids, if you have a big family, you can just add some hot water and you have a whole batch of spaghetti just ready to go. All right, I'll end it with there. I could keep going on forever about how great this is, but if you like my videos, subscribe, send me a like, and I'll see you on the next one.